Hey guys and horror fans, what's up? Ivo Rambo McLean for life. I'm back for another video and for another movie review. And today I'm going to review and discuss Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, which was released on February 27, 1987. And I do have the t-shirt. You can see I have a t-shirt right here. Been a huge fan of this movie. I have a poster on the frame right there. I have another poster right here. If you think you're ready, for Freddy, think again, which is a copycat. I do love this poster art. Freddy's face, and this will be Kristen, Joey, Tarin, and of course Kincaid, and which are the Dream Warriors. I just love this poster art. I have a poster right in the frame so you can see it. I have a poster of part 1, which is my huge fan of this movie, and I have a part 4 right here. So Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, which is a 13-3. This is actually considered by many of the fans favorite in the franchise. It's definitely one of my favorite horror films of all time. What can I say about Dream Warriors? A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors is one of the greatest slasher horror sequels of all time. I don't think that any horror slasher film nowadays is so great as Dream Warriors. Still not better than the first one because it's my favorite movie of all time. But yeah, it's close right there. Part 3 Dream Warriors is the best one of all time. I love this movie dearly to death. Yeah, I love this movie to death. And like I said, this movie is better than Jason Lee's Friday the 13th Part 6. Better. It destroys that piece of garbage movie. That movie was trash, was garbage. I love everyone in this movie. Everyone I love. Everyone, all characters, everybody I love in this movie to death. Was directed by Chuck Russell. Wes Craven became executive producer and he also wrote the screenplay, but he did not direct this film. So this is actually improvement over part 2. And because part 2 was not so successful like was the first movie, even though it made more money than the first one, it wasn't successful. Wes Craven, rest in peace, he actually wanted that that this movie will be more creepy, more scary, more dark, in a dark tone. He wanted that Freddy goes in the real world and he starts stalking and killing, producers and filmmakers that invent them, that he's sort of some demon. But New Line Cinema did not allow that, so they had to change the screenplay. And this movie meant to be, the end of the franchise. It meant to be the third and final entry to complete the trilogy. And the same was in Friday the 13th. Part 4, the final chapter, it was meant to be the end of the franchise. And Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors was actually meant to the end of the franchise, the complete the trilogy, and it meant to be the end of the franchise. But they keep continue, to be ongoing franchise, and keep continue to do that. But yeah, there was actually Wes Craven wasn't alone who wrote the screenplay. Was also Chuck Russell, Frank Darabont, and of course Bruce Wagner, who wrote the screenplay. I think that I don't know who actually did the story for this film. But like I said, Wes Craven, Chuck Russell, Frank Darabont, and Bruce Wagner, they all wrote the screenplay. They actually all wrote the screenplay. It was actually story was by Wes Craven and Bruce Wagner. They did the story. And like I said, written was by Frank Darabont, Bruce Wagner, Chuck Russell, and Wes Craven. There were 4 writers for this movie, and the story was based on Bruce Wagner and Wes Craven, so that was balls in my opinion. And like I said, The Nightmare 3 Dream Warriors is a fantastic film, great horror film, one of the best horror films ever. I think there's a lot of people that this movie is their favorite in the franchise, favorite entry. This guy, Cody Leach, I only saw his ranking and he said that this is actually his favorite movie in the franchise. When he ranked it, this movie #1. A lot of fans, they actually ranked the third movie, Dream Warriors, as #1 because it was so great. This is improvement over part 2. It wasn't only improvement. It was also faithful follows the story of the first movie. There, the first movie ended, and it also does not disrespect the second movie. It does not because it continue where the part 2 ended, but ignores the events of part 2. But continue there where the first movie left off. Where this movie left off. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of this film. I have a t-shirt, I have a poster in the frame right there. I have the first one and I have part 4 right here. But yeah, I love this movie dearly to death. I'm a huge fan of the franchise, and part 3 is one of my favorite horror films of all time. I love this movie to death. It's one of the greatest sequels. It's a great gory film. It's a great slasher film, and has a great acting. I love everyone. I dislike Jason Lives because it's so fucking overrated. Because I don't think it's such a good film at all. I think it's a cheap, boring, shitty movie. That's what I think. I think this movie is much better. I think that Shocker is better film. I think Friday the 13th Part 2 is better than Jason Lives. That's what I think. I think Part 7 is better than Jason Lives. The Evil Dead 2, I think is better than Jason Lives. That's what I think. And this movie is miles better than Jason Lives. It's miles better than nowadays horror films. There's miles better. Now to the story. The story focus about Kristen Parker. She has ability to pull people back in her dream. Her mom attacks her when she tried to slit her wrist, but that was actually Freddy in the sinker that tried to kill her. Kristen is sent to psychiatric hospital in Western Hills, which there are actually smart kids that are actually there because they have sleeping disorder, and like I said, they all have sleeping disorder. There we actually meet the characters that Dream Warriors, and I already mentioned it. Kristen Parker played by Patricia Arquette. I'm just gonna say this is Kristen Parker, this is Joey, this is Starin, and this is Kincaid. Already mentioned Kristen Parker played by Patricia Arquette. We also have Philip Anderson, played by Bradley Gregg, which I'll be right there. Only gonna have to see the other characters. Philip Anderson, when Nancy shows up for the first time, which the movie set 6 years after the events of the first movie, and the time when Nancy meets the kids, Philip tells her welcome to the snake pit. Bradley Gregg, he played Philip. He was actually the leader of Dream Warriors. And if you haven't seen this movie, I recommend you to watch this movie. Bradley Gregg has started, after he did successful this film. I know he wasn't that much in the film, but he was a main star of this film, Class of 1999. If you haven't seen this movie, I recommend it. And two of Bradley Gregg's best films. But in this movie, he's the main star, and he's a badass. Actually, there's a picture of him. That's him. I don't know if you can see up close, but that's him, Bradley Gregg. He plays Cody Culp, a teenager, and he's a badass in this film. And I'm glad that actually that I'm glad that Bradley Gregg is in this movie. But I think Bradley Gregg is a forgotten actor. I think he's a criminally underrated actor. That's what I think. And the rest of the actually Philip, he creates, puppets. He's like making puppets, but he's not allowed, to use a knife because they afraid that he's gonna cut his wrists. So the others are actually the other the other the other the others the other of them, are actually Roland Kincaid, played by Ken Sagoes. He's strong, he has superhuman strength in the dreams. Joey Cruzel, played by Ronnie Eastman. He's a mute, but he's a he has a deafening supersonic scream in the dreams. Taryn White, played by Jennifer Rubin. She's actually a beautiful embed in her dreams. She's actually a punk biker with two knives, two switchblades. She can flick knife skills. She has a flick knife skills with two great knives. She's a punk girl. She's like a punk biker. And she says in her dreams, I'm beautiful and bad. She has like two switchblades, just like Freddy. She's a badass in this movie, played by Jennifer Rubin. And of course, Will Stanton, played by Ira Hayden. He's the wizard master. He can casting spells in the dreams. And of course, I forgot to mention and Jennifer Caulfield, played by Penelope Sudrow. Jennifer Caulfield, she always wants to be, she wants to be an actress when she's gonna make it through the psychiatric hospital, the progress, and she's gonna go to Hollywood, she's gonna become an actress. And those are the dream warriors, the kids. And they became the target of Freddy Krueger. Robert Englund once again returns, and now and of course Dr. Neil Gordon, played by Craig Wason. I think he's criminally underrated. I think he's the hero. He's actually the hero of the whole movie, and he's a badass. And he's better than Tom Matthews. Tom Matthews is overrated, shitty actor. But this guy, Craig Wason, he's no longer on the TV anymore. I think since 2006, 2008. I'm not sure. But he's no longer, on the TV anymore. But Craig Wason as Dr. Neil Gordon, he was great. He was a badass. He was a great hero. Nancy Thompson returns as intern during in the Western Hill Psychiatric Hospital, and she actually beat Freddy Krueger with Hypnocil, which is actually a drug, that wasn't actually already announced by EPA. I think it was EPA or something like that, but it's a powerful drug, Hypnocil. And Philip, played by Bradley Craig, who became the first target of Fred Krueger. And Freddy uses him, as he goes in the Philip dream, and he uses his glove to slice open Philip's skin on his arms and legs. And Freddy operated Philip like marionette, throws him over the ledge of the tower. He operates him. He goes and operates him, as marionette, just like a puppet. He operates him, and he goes and throws him off the ledge, of the tower, from the ledge, throws him off and kills him. And because, these kids became the target, and Nancy tries to find out more about Kristen. And of course, Freddy once again attacks Kristen. This is actually big snake, big snake Freddy. He tries to attack her, tries to eat her, and Kristen somehow, pulls the back over Nancy, and Nancy uses the glass, the split of the glass, and stabs Freddy. Freddy goes, "You!" and he lets go, Kristen. That was a badass. It was awesome. It was just a badass in my opinion. It was awesome. It was awesome, and that time, because Freddy, they have a group therapy, and she tells her that their parents, actually 20 years ago killed. They actually went and they killed Freddy Krueger, and now they are actually the target because he wants revenge. He's taking their children. They killed him, so now he's after their children, and they're smart kids, like she said, and yeah, and of course, Nancy tells that Kristen is the key to everyone. She can pull everyone in the dreams, and at first, and of course, at first, Neil Gordon does not believe her, but then he starts believe her that is everything true. That is everything is actually true in this movie. Everything that Nancy told him is true. These kids became they actually became the targets, and he tries to help him. He wants that these dreams are stopped, and he wants Hypnocil. And Dr. Sims is against it. I think it was Priscilla Poitier. I think it was the actress that played, Sims. Dr. Sims. I think was Priscilla Poitier. Dr. Elizabeth Sims was against it. She know what Hypnocil is, but she was against it, because Neil Gordon says, "I want these dreams to be stopped." And there's a scene when when Jennifer, she's actually sitting in the living room, and Max, played by Lawrence Fishburne, this movie, tells her she has to go sleep, but because Philip was dead, Jennifer says, "No, please, I don't want to go to sleep. I wanna be awake. Can you just sleep now?" And Max says, "Okay, but he never saw me." And I love the scene when she wakes up, and Zazie Gabor, she has a small role. Sally Kellerman supposed to be, in the TV, but Zazie Gabor, she was in it, and of course, and I just love when she sees Freddy in it, when Freddy says, "Who gives a fuck what you think?" And Jennifer goes to the TV, like San Ron, and that time Freddy grabs her, and he shows up, and he says, "This is it, Jennifer, your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch!" And he came and smashes her head in the fucking TV. That was a badass. It was awesome, That was a badass death scene I have ever seen. This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch. I just love that. Chuck Russell was not sure which he's supposed to use, which lines supposed to use, so he used both the lines because both were great, both were powerful. So now, because they want to pull everyone back into sleep, and because they don't allow, because Nancy and Neil Gordon, they actually both throw out, they are kicked out of the hospital. So how to find, how Neil Gordon has like visions from on the funeral. He has like visions from this girl. He has visions from this old lady, nun, sister, Mary Helena. She actually was played by Nan Martin, because the reason why I actually wrote down the actress was because in part 5 it was a different actress that played that actually played sister Mary Helena. She actually was Amanda Kruger. Amanda Kruger, she was raped by hundreds of maniacs, hundreds of bastard maniacs, and that's how Freddy was born. And the quiet spirit has to be put to rest, and in order to stop, Freddy, they actually have to find the bones and remains of him. So Nancy said that only one man knows where they are, and they go to this bar and they meet her daddy. He's no longer sheriff. He's now he's actually a drunk now, and he's like he's now a security officer now. And Neil Gordon, he says, go back to the kids, and he goes like a badass. And Neil Gordon, nice to meet you, goes and kicks the guy's ass, and they go to this junkyard. That was where he invented the junkyard. They go to the junkyard, which was a badass. To the junkyard they go, and they found the remains. They unburied the remains of Freddy. And while the other kids are now back in the dream, and there's a great invented which the Wizard Master Ira becomes one of the targets, and Ira uses his power, his spells, in which he destroys the wheelchair, and he goes to fight off Freddy. Freddy grabs him. Sorry, kid, I don't believe in fairy tales. Goes and stabs him with his glove and kills him. And of course, that time, when Tyrant, she becomes a punk, a punk biker, and she goes and fights off Freddy. And Freddy uses his glove, but he cannot defeat her, so he uses in his arms those needles of drugs, and he goes and kills her with the needles of drugs, on both her hands. So he kills her. So now only Nancy, Joey, Kincaid, and Kristen, they actually stay, all of them, on the junkyard. When of course Neil uses the holy water, he uses the holy water, and he goes and he uses the holy water. He goes and he uses holy water and a crucifix, and the remains, when Freddy attacks Kristen, Joey, Kincaid, and of course Nancy, he goes back in the real world as a skeleton. That was very scary. The skeleton was very scary. And he goes, and when Lieutenant Donald Thompson, he sees that, says, already killed you once, you son of a bitch. And he uses some long iron stick, metal stick, tries to hit Freddy, but Freddy grabs him and throws him, and he stabs him in some metal sharp object. It was like a dog tag, metal sharp dog tag, stabs Lieutenant Donald Thompson, and then he goes and uses the shovel and punch, and he smashes on Neil Gordon's face, knocks him down, uses the dirt, defeats him. He goes back in the dream, attacks the Dream Warriors, and of course, he first goes back, the image as Lieutenant Donald Thompson. When hugs Nancy, he goes and stabs her, and then he tries to he attacks Kristen, and Nancy, she's a badass, she jumps off, stabs him right in the chest, tries to stop him. And that time, Neil, like a badass he is, wakes up. He uses the holy water, spills holy water on the remains of the bones of Freddy, and ashes to ashes, dust to dust, uses the crucifix, puts it in the skull, and destroys and kills Freddy like a badass. And Nancy then dies. And that time Chris says, I'm not gonna let you die. She tries to sin, but Nancy dies, and then the movie ends, and while Neil, he sees Sister Mary Helena. He finds out that she was Amanda Kruger, and she helped him out how to put the quiet spirit to rest, which is a funeral. And Nancy and Lieutenant Donald Thompson are now both dead. They both die. And when Neil, he goes and when actually, Neil, he goes and he wakes up. He actually sleeps, and the puppet house, someone turns up the light. And I actually read it that it was actually Nancy that she did that. She was actually the one that she actually was the one that she was guardian. She actually was guardian, Neil Gordon's dreams, and she became a guardian. But it was hinted that was Freddy who turned up the light, but I read that it was Nancy. So yeah, it actually had a happy ending. And then the movie ends, with a great credits, Dream Warriors, by the band Dokken. They also did in the open scene Into the Fire, which I love that, and Dream Warriors, love that song. All the scenes were in the music video. Also, Robert Englund was in it. But yeah, A Nightmare's 3 is a badass film. It's one of the greatest horror films. This movie is better to me than Jason Lives. That movie is garbage. This movie is a masterpiece. It's a classic masterpiece. I love. It's a fast pace. It has great death kills. I would say that Philip is actually my favorite death scene. That Freddy operates on him like a marionette and throws him off the ledge from the tower of the ledge. That's my favorite death scene. Or Jennifer's Caulfield's scene. He grabs her. This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. Welcome to prime time, bitch. I just love that. Or when he goes, or when he goes and says, I actually wrote this line because Nancy says, you are never that strong. And he replies, he goes and he replies, the souls of my children gives me my strength. I just love great outlines by Robert Englund. Fantastic acting performance of Robert Englund. It has a great cast. The music score was this time done by Angelo, the music composer who did the music score, the music intro for Twin Peaks. But it's written, it was Angelo Angelo Badalamenti. He did the music score, and this was the music score that was close to the first movie, not like Christopher Young in Part 2. And yeah, it has a great vibe to it. It's a fast paced. It's a creepy. It's more scary. It's a badass film. It's one of my favorite horror films of all time. This was always my second favorite in the franchise. So yeah, it was always my second favorite. It's not my number one. This will be my number one, but this will be close. This movie would have been close as right there with the first one. Now, one of my biggest problems, I haven't talked about my problems. My dog already watches. What the hell are you talking about problems? My problem was that I was not a fan that Nancy dies. I mean, Nancy Thompson is one of my favorite characters. She's my favorite heroine of all time. And Heather Langenkamp is better than Jennifer Cook, better than Friday 13 Part 6, Jason Lee's Jennifer Cook. Fuck you, Jennifer Cook, stink. Better than Megan Fox. Better than Gallica Dodd, better than Amber in Mid Thunder. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck is with the shitty last name, Mid Thunder. She's better than nowadays actors, better than Meryl Streep. She's better than, she's much better than nowadays actresses. And yes, Wes Craven, I read that somewhere Wes Craven regretted for killing his character. But because the New Line Cinema wanted to kill the character Nancy Thompson anyway, so he said no one kills her but me. Just like in Die Hard, no one kills him but me. So he killed the character. But I'm not happy, that Nancy dies. I'm a huge fan. That's one of the reasons I love this movie a little more than the third one. I was not happy that she dies. She shouldn't die. She should be survivor. Um, but Heather Langenkamp was great. But I still think her performance in part 7, Wes Craven's New Nightmare, was much better because she survived. And that's what I loved in that movie a little more. But part 3, Dream Warriors, is so great film, so unique. It has a great dream sequences, great deaths, great kills. The characters. Bradley Gregg as Philip Anderson did great job. He did a great job. Ian Clary Fishburne is in this movie. Lawrence Fishburne now. He's skinny. He plays one of the wardens as Max. He's also... he's also Robert Englund and Cancer Ghost and Ronnie Eastman. They were not that bad. They did a great job. Penelope Sidrow, I would say she was a scream queen in my opinion, better than Jamie Lee Curtis. She was a great scream queen in my opinion. I mean, what happened? She's such a forgotten actress. She's a forgotten actress. She's such a forgotten actress. She's a forgotten actress. Just like Amy Steele, she's a forgotten actress. Those are just forgotten actresses. Sorry, I have to change a little. She's a forgotten actress, in my opinion. She's better than actresses I just mentioned, like Jennifer Cook, Megan Fox, that slut, Gal Gadot. Fuck you, Gal Gadot. The other slut. What is already her name? That already said. Amber Midthunder or Meryl Streep. Fuck that whore, Meryl Streep. Fuck her, I hate her. That slut, that whore. But yeah, there's just so many actresses I think are forgotten. Larpa Lincoln, Amy Steele, Shawnee Smith from The Blob, 1988. She was such a great character. Kristen Parker was a badass in this film. But yeah, Freddy, he was a badass in this film. He kicked ass. I remember when I watched Convention, the video, someone filmed the video on the convention. The guy that plays Will Stanton, Ira Hayden, he said that the reason why this movie is so successful because they kicked Freddy's ass. I remember seeing it years ago. But yeah, it was just fantastic, movie. The characters were great, the outliners were great. Jennifer Rubin as Starry White, she's my favorite character of all time. I know Jennifer Caulfield is beautiful, forgotten, but Jennifer Rubin, she actually was told by many fans that they actually quit with drugs because of her, and she was very proud. Jennifer Rubin as Starry White was a fantastic. Would like to meet her someday. I know that's never gonna happen, but yeah, she was great. Jennifer Rubin was great. She's my favorite character of the Dream Warriors. Starry White, she's a punk girl, with 2 switchblades. In my dreams, I'm bad and beautiful. Or she says, or she more says, beautiful and bad. In my dreams, I'm beautiful and bad. With her 2 switchblades, I love that. Bradley Gregg as Philip Anderson was fantastic. He was great. The cast was great. Robert Englund's best performance ever. Love him so much. I love Doken's music score, Dream Warriors and Into the Fire. Great performance by Patricia Arquette as Kristen Parker. I love her. This is actually Jennifer Rubin and Patricia Arquette's first acting debut. And Robert Englund knew that Patricia Arquette's gonna be a main star. She's gonna become a huge star someday. So a lot of guys that really liked her because she was very beautiful that time. They came to Robert Englund's advice how to ask her for a date. So that was awesome in my opinion. Patricia Arquette did a great job. And this came out, February 27, 1987. And It's already was for the year, I think it was for the year anniversary of this film, and it still stands today. Kevin Yeager's metal sharp glow still stands. Now they actually used the original glow from this movie, from the first movie, but it was lost. Actually, it was stolen because Robert Englund gave to the glove he gave to his agent. It was stolen. It was found by some fan back in 2009, which he bought it on the auction. But yes, the original glove was stolen on this movie when Wes Craven borrowed them. Yeah. Tarin's death was ranked number 7 on WatchMojo.com, a list of top 10 Freddy Krueger kills. So, I thought Tarin White, the character was great, played by Jennifer Rubin. I love the poster. I love this movie to death. It's just, I don't know what else to say. A Nightmare on Elm Street Dream Warriors is a great sequel. It's one of the greatest sequels. One of the greatest slasher films of all time. So yeah, that's actually my review on A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. The third entry is actually by many people favorite film. That's my second favorite of the franchise so far. It's many people's favorite in the franchise. Like I said, Cody Leach said this is actually his favorite. The franchise, he ranked this number 1 in the ranking in his video when I watched it. But yeah, I love the Dream Warriors soundtrack. I love Into the Fire. I love Patricia Arquette as Kristen Parker. I just love this movie. I don't know what else to say. I love this movie to death. So what's your actual thought on this film? What's your favorite part of the film? Did you like this film? Did you hate it? I was seriously wondering, there aren't many third sequels, any great sequels. I don't think that Saw 3 is better than this movie. I don't think there's any third sequels that great as this film. Because this was great, unique, invented. It has great gory, great kills, great bloody effects, scary. The junkyard is my favorite scene when I forgot to say John Saxon returns. Lieutenant Donald Thompson, and fights off Skeleton. The Skeleton scene is scary. It's my favorite. The junkyard with Skeleton, and Skeleton attacks and kills Lieutenant Donald Thompson and attacks Neil. That was very scary. Craig Wesson did a great job as Neil Gordon. I just love this movie to death. I recommend this movie to see it. If you haven't watched it, it's the first time you should watch it. It's such a great epic film, my opinion. But yeah, that's my movie review on A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. Of course, I'll show you once again, this film. So that's the third film. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you the next entry. That's gonna be Dream Master, but A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 Dream Master. So I'll see you. I'm out. Bye bye. Peace.